You people are here with me.
We are with Barrister Saif Malik, who was representing the blasphemy accused Asia Bibi in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has upheld its own verdict, earlier verdict, wherein the Supreme Court had set free Asia Bibi, dismissing the case against her, the charges of blasphemy against Asia Bibi. Barrister Saif Malik is with us, who was today in the Supreme Court. Barrister, what do you have to say about
Okay, he's talking to another channel now. I'll put him on phone now.
I think this is a landmark judgment in the history of the Pakistan, and I must have no words to praise the Honorable Chief Justice Asif Saif. And when I addressed the European Parliament last month, and I mentioned the name of my present Chief Justice there, and I said, had Justice Khosa been not member of this bench, the result of the Asia's appeal could have been otherwise.
But this judgment was authored by former Chief Justice Hakim Nasar.
Yeah, authored by the different thing. I was in the court, you were also in the court. We are the colleagues, we have worked together as lawyers, and we have worked together as lawyers and judges. I know who is he. Even on the hearing, I think this was the Justice Khosa who was the instrumental for the acquittal judgment.
So is Asia now free to leave Pakistan?
She is free to leave Pakistan, free to leave anywhere she likes. So let her enjoy the rest of her life.
So has she already left Pakistan, or she's still
I think till this time she's here, but till night I don't know.
So what exactly were the reasons given by Supreme Court for upholding its earlier verdict and dismissing the
I think the Supreme Court said that for review you have to show a specific instances from the judgment under review that they're against any provision of law or against the record of the case. So they have gone much ahead to satisfy this complainant, which was not their duty, and they've almost gone for rehearing, which is not the jurisdiction of the review jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. And I think they have tried to make them understand that legally they have accepted the appeal. They have no merit in the review.
But do you think this judgment will set a precedence for future blasphemy cases? This can be very helpful for such cases in future.
I totally agree with you. This is a landmark judgment, and Supreme Court has held that they'll require a very strict and straightforward and honest evidence for convictions in the blasphemy.
And do you think this judgment is going to discourage
of the worthy Chief Justice that they are exercising restraint, otherwise they could have registered the criminal cases against the witnesses, is enough and loud message for the future. The people should be careful in bringing falsehoods.
So do you think you and your client Asia Bibi are safe in Pakistan, or you are leaving Pakistan?
I have decided to live for the rest of my life in Pakistan and die and live with you people, my friends, and continue my human rights works and continue my defending these minorities and other people who are alleged for the famine and other serious cases.
What about Asia Bibi?
I think Asia Bibi cannot live in this country, as there is a fatwa against her that even after the Supreme Court judgment that she is liable to be killed in Pakistan. I think they're in Canada, and most probably she and her husband will follow me.
The Prime Minister will be allowed to leave Pakistan.
I think this statement was against the constitution of the country. This I've explained in the European Parliament and in my meetings with all dignitaries of the Western world, that according to Article 189 of the Pakistani Constitution, which is binding, judgments of the Supreme Court are binding on all government levels, including Prime Minister and everyone. And since the Supreme Court has acquitted her, the government of Pakistan had no constitutional right to stop her moving anywhere, because that has violated her fundamental rights granted under Article 15, which says that every citizen has a fundamental right to move freely throughout the country or outside.
And last question, do you think the judiciary in Pakistan is now independent and competent enough to decide blasphemy cases on merit?
I think this, replying to a question in the European Parliament from a member of the Parliament who was trying to say that probably the judgment was out of pressure from the Western world. I told there on the ground, it's on record, that Pakistani Supreme Court is much more stronger and independent than the Supreme Court of the United States of America.
Thank you very much. Barrister Saif, you have heard who has represented Asia Bibi. She was accused of blasphemy. 10 long years of legal battle she has fought, and Barrister Saif Malik represented her. And today in Supreme Court, the Supreme Court has upheld its own verdict. Earlier, a few months back, the Supreme Court had set free. But under Pakistani law, another appeal, another review can be filed against the judgment of the Supreme Court. And after the decision in a review, then that judgment takes finality. And after today's verdict by the Supreme Court, 3-member judges, a bench led by the Chief Justice Asif Khosa, who was also part of the bench which earlier set free Asia Bibi, dismissing all blasphemy charges against her. Today, verdict has paved the way for Asia Bibi to leave Pakistan. And as Barrister Saif Malik has himself said, that he is not going to leave Pakistan. He is going to stay back, he is going to live here, and he is going to do many other cases of human rights and defend human rights in Pakistan. It's indeed a landmark judgment by Pakistani Supreme Court, and the kind of questions that were raised in the Apex Court today, and there were very few answers given by the complainant Qari Salam against Asia Bibi, and the advocate Ghulam Mustafa, who was arguing against Asia Bibi, had very few answers to give to the Supreme Court. There were many discrepancies pointed out by the Supreme Court, contradictions in the statements of the prosecution witnesses, and of course some loopholes in the investigation, which the verdict today. Asia Bibi is free, and it is hoped by legal lawyers and experts that this verdict is going to set a very high standard of benchmarks, very high benchmark for the prosecution to meet even in future similar blasphemy cases. So this is a great source of education even for the society, and particularly the civil society in Pakistan, and for the judgment and for the courts, the lower courts, for any future such situation where normally people are blamed of using this blasphemy law to punish their political rivals and to victimize their rivals, and use this as a political tool to defame and disrepute their opponents. So this Supreme Court verdict has certainly given a lot of hope to those who have been complaining against this law, and particularly the application of this law by the local people, by the police, and then of course the interpretation of this law by the lower courts. That's it from MJ Television. This was an MJtv exclusive, Matula Jan MJtv exclusive. I hope you like it and you subscribe the channel.